Hello, and welcome to Cooking with Stephen and Anita Smith. Tonight we're going to make everybody's favorite, which is scalloped potatoes and ham. I like to start with a nice... Hang on, a dog is choking. Are you okay? All right, slow down. Anyway, that's the craziness of live TV, if I can say it. I like to use a nice Yukon Gold potato. A lot of people like to use russets because they don't like Yukon Gold. I don't even understand people that don't like Yukon Gold potatoes because they're the best potatoes in the whole world. So you want a good size one. You want to buy them round like this because they're easier to peel. They're just nicer all the way around. So what we're going to do is we're going to peel these, and I'm going to go over the sink here. I'll take you with me. Come on. I'm going to go over the sink here, and I'm going to start peeling this potato with the peeler. And I'm just doing like a nice draw peel that works really fast. And you can see how thin that peel is. See, it's nice and thin. That skin is super thin on these. So you get a lot of potato and they're easy to peel. I'm going to use I use a big French white dish like this to put these in. And I make a huge batch when I make them because you can always give them away or you can parse them out during the week. So it's just better to make a big batch when you're doing them. If you're going to make them as a side dish, you just use the potatoes. If you're going to make a main dish, then I use ham. And usually I like to use a nice ham from Ham. This is just like a thin sliced, I just buy the thin sliced stuff because it's easier to, not easier to open, that's for sure. It's easier to break it up and everything. If you want big chunks of ham in your ham and potatoes, then use big chunks. I would probably stay away from stuff like honey baked ham or those kinds of cured hams because, I don't know, it's just a lot of husky taste in a dish that's fairly delicate. So I would stay away from that. Hey, look, I got the package open. Okay, so the ham is going to look like this. It's just thin sliced like ham, like this, like sheets of ham. And you always want to put your ham in the bottom of your dish. This was my mother's rule. I don't know why, but like put your ham in the bottom of the dish, rip it up like this, just rip it up in whatever bite-sized pizzas, and just cover the bottom of the dish with ham. The reason she always told me to put it on the bottom is she said ham gets really watery, especially bigger, chunkier ham. And she's like, you want that water down to the bottom where it can be kind of like absorbed into the rest of the dish because the potatoes, as it is, have enough water in them that they're going to be wet as well. So I'm going to take a break for just a second because I'm going to go ahead and get some potatoes peeled. Okay, so we're back. Now I've gotten all my potatoes peeled. I peeled 5 of them, and that's probably going to be plenty. Didn't need a stick of butter. I'll open that up, and I'll show you how what the ham looks like in the dish. And here we go. Ham looks like that in the dish. If you can see, I've just covered the bottom of the dish with ham. You can do it thicker if you want. I'm just like, to me this is really about the potatoes, it's not about the ham, but that's why I like it thin as opposed to big thick chunks. Okay, so at this point we've got ham in the bottom, we got potatoes here and peeled and ready to go, and I'm using a cutting board. So I'm going to take my potatoes I'm not doing right now and pull off. Then what I'm going to do is grab my slicer because, and this is an old slicer. I know that probably out in the world they make slicers like this today. New ones, it's a manual, just and that's all you need. It's just a small slicer like this. The thing about this is most of this is aluminum, but the blade is steel. So see the blade. So it it rusts if you don't, I mean, you gotta wash it off right away and dry it completely or it will rust. It kind of makes you not be lazy, but it would be nice if they made a fancier one. Anyway, so I'm gonna take this and you're gonna like kind of curl your fingers up because you don't want to cut your fingers because this is super sharp. I'm gonna set this like at about that depth, if you can see where I'm setting it, about that depth for the potatoes, and you can see the slices that are coming off. I'll show you a slice in just a second. So I'm just going to go through and slice a potato and keep rotating the potato. That helps keep your fingers safe. So you got the thickest side away, because it's really about an even thickness of potatoes, not the shape or anything, because that way they cook kind of evenly. So they're pretty fine. I mean, if you look at, there's some super thin ones like that. This is like the regular thickness, but it's still pretty pretty thin. So as I'm doing this, I'm going to keep putting these. I'm going to start layering these up, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. I'm going to slice up most of these potatoes. Okay, so we're back, and here's our dish full of ham. I've preheated the oven. This is probably a good time to do that. Preheat the oven to 325. I've got a mountain of sliced potatoes. Look at that mountain of sliced potatoes. Ooh, Cher says, oh, potatoes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to hold the camera and do all this. I'm going to take my potatoes and I'm just going to start layering them into the dish. It's like not rocket science, just kind of get them even. Layer them up. Put a layer to cover the ham, and you're good. And just get them in there. Well, wash your hands. Don't touch your junk, and then go back to touching potatoes without washing your hands. Okay. Once we have that on, next layer is, I'm going to set the camera down for a second. Please hold. So you can still hear me. The next layer is going to be flour. We're just going to use plain old white enriched baking flour, all-purpose, no fanciness. And I just take me age-old flour scoop and I just kind of tap it like this, and you can just see how I am just putting a powder coating right on top of all of that. Just even it out. Yep. It's super simple. Not complicated. You could do this with a spoon. You can do it with I don't know, whatever the hell you want to do it with. Just as long as you kind of get it even across the potatoes. That's all you care about. Okay, gotta layer that. Next, I'm gonna put in some salt. I don't go too heavy on the salt because there's ham in here which already has salt in it. That's up to you. If you want them salty, then rock on. Again, this is a delicate dish. It doesn't have a lot of heavy-duty flavor to it. You can always add salt and pepper afterward when you're eating it. So I'm going to put a layer of pepper in, because remember, flour and potato absorb a lot of flavor. So you can have these, you kind of need these ingredients in the layering of it. But it's like you don't have to go crazy. That's plenty of pepper in there. Next I'm going to do butter. I'm going to do another layer of potatoes first. So hang on just a second. I'm going to set you down. And I'll edit, maybe I won't edit out these parts, but I might. I'm going to go ahead and quickly put on another layer of potatoes. Please hold, I'm doing that fast. And just covering what I've got in here. It's super simple, it's not complicated. It doesn't have to be in any particular order. Rinse my hands off so I don't get my phone all sticky. I'm not touching my junk right now, but maybe I will plan on it after I do this. Okay, so back. So here's another layer of potatoes on top of there. This is like so lather, rinse, repeat, except this time what I'm going to do at this point, because it's a little higher up in the dish, we're going to start to put some butter in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go down. I just took this was in the refrigerator, so it's kind of, oh, my oven's ready to go. This was in the refrigerator, so it was like, it's still cold, which is fine, because that way it's just easier to cut and it's not all sloppy and melted and everything. So go for refrigerator butter, that's cool. Right, so I'm gonna just take these and I'm just gonna spread these around as if they were little dollops of joy. Look at that, look at those little dollops of joy. Look at that, look at all that fat and cholesterol, yum. Yum, yum, yum. Little dollops of golden joy are going in here. All the golden potatoes with golden butter. It's just a golden dish. It'll make your insides feel all golden. Okay, so I've gotten a whole stick of butter in there and just layered those around. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go in with another layer of flour, salt and pepper. So I'm going to do that right now. I'll be back. I'll be back. I said I'll be back. Okay. Now I don't know if my video cut out or not. Anyway, I've gotten the rest of the potatoes on the top. Again, this can be a side dish if you're going to do it for not to have as a main dish, and it's a great thing to take to a holiday party or whatever because it's a no-fail dish. It's always good and people love it and it always tastes home cooked. Okay, so I got all the potatoes on. The next step to this is I'm going to run over to the refrigerator. Hang on just a second. We're walking, and we're going to go get some half and half. Half and half is, you can do whole milk, but fuck it, let's do half and half. I mean, come on. If you're gonna make a dish this rich and creamy, you don't want to put 2% on there. 2% is a sin on this dish. Go back to the refrigerator because that was not a full thing of half and half. Another thing of half and half, which I always keep about 10 of these in my refrigerator because you never know when you're gonna need half and half. And sometimes the top is on so tight that you can't get it off. Just a second, we're working on this. Got it. I'll put that annoying plastic thing on the inside. I have found there's a brand out there that is, I don't know, Horrocks sells it, I think. One of their brands, or one of the brands that they carry, that doesn't have the plastic top, that just has the old carton opening. I like those because it's not putting more plastic into the environment. Thank you, let's be environmentally friendly. So I am just filling this bad boy up. This is a whole nother, almost another thing of half and half. Almost all of it's in there. And you can see it's almost right up to the rim all the way around. This is why your oven is at 325. First of all, it's a slow cooked dish. Secondly, 350 is usually where stuff boils in the oven. So I know those of you that don't cook go, oh really? So this is where you would be like, okay, you can fill it up pretty close to the top because it's not going to boil over in your oven. Okay, so now next I'm going to go grab whatever we got in here, and it's like random, like it can be any kind of cheese. Oh, it's Colby Jack. So I've got Colby Jack in a package, and this one's open, so that's perfect. I'm going to set you guys down for just a second. I'm still here. I'm just opening the package of cheese. There I am. Okay, so we've got our potatoes here, and I like this better than, I like the really super fine shred stuff because it's not overpowering. And I don't want to cheese the crap. I know some people would say, well, that's really au gratin potatoes. Whatever. You know what? Take your lousy ass opinions somewhere else, because this is scalloped potatoes with cheese on the top. Au gratin potatoes is, I don't know, it's different. It's from the land of gratin. Anyway, I don't overdo the cheese on here because I don't want the cheese to be the overpowering thing in the dish. I just want it to be kind of like an extra little, there's some cheese topping on here. Okay, so there it is, and we're going to put this in our 325 oven, and it's going to go for, I would let it go for about 1 hour and 20 minutes, and then check it. Put your timer at 1 hour and 20 minutes because at that point it should be, it should start to be, you want to get it to a golden bubbly brown top, and it'll do that naturally. It's going to cook uncovered just like this. In fact, hang on, I'll show you in the oven. Please hold, I've got to lift with 2 hands. Ugh. Thing weighs a ton. Yum. Okay, so we're going to go right over the oven, and you can see that's it in the oven. It's just open like this, cooks like that. You want to kind of keep crap off of your dish because then it burns on your dish and it's just more to clean up. But anyway, that's what it looks like going in. And so we're gonna go an hour and 20 minutes. Clock, or not, that's clock. That's not, I want timer. Timer, we're gonna go up to 27. Let's do an hour and 20, that's where we're gonna check it. Now it may have to go at an hour and 20, we're gonna look at it and we're gonna see where it's at, and it may have to go another, I don't know, another 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes it goes as long as 2 hours, it just depends. Okay, so we've got 54 minutes left to go, so we're not gonna see a lot of difference here, but I'm gonna kind of end the video here because I wanna edit it together and it's getting late. There's the beginning of the cheese is melted in, the things are starting to glaze up and everything, it looks good. It's got to go a while more before it starts to really brown on top, and when it does, it's going to look amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and put this video together, and then you can make your own dish. Enjoy. Video.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, no.
It's not the video. That's, no.
No.
Your mom?
No.
Your mom.
Sex.
This is the one, Pats.